Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Reptile Barn. I have a bittersweet topic for you today, and Shayla here is going to help me out. Um, we've been doing a lot of pondering about our ball python collection. We are pretty comfortable with the number of ball pythons we have, which has never happened before. In the past, as we were in our kind of growth phase of our business, just numerically speaking, I don't know if she's going to be more of a help or a hindrance for this video. Whenever we would, buy new snakes, we could just build a new rack. Whenever we would get a good clutch and there were holdbacks that we wanted to keep for future breeders, we could just build a new rack. Well, we have maxed out our space, or at least we've used the space as much as we're willing to for ball pythons. And we are now kind of at a comfort level where we're like, okay, we can take care of this number of snakes, this number of hatchlings, feedings, the money involved, the time involved, etc. But we're not sure that we could really handle much more. So we have had to come to grips with, we still need, from a business perspective, to grow. But we can't grow in the traditional, just add more animals, right? Kind of way. So we need to grow our business on a per capita basis. We need specific things to grow, but the total number of ball pythons we actually need to not grow, if that makes sense. Well, how do we do that, and what does that look like? So I'm not going to use the phrase quality over quantity, simply because I always have this worry that business-minded people view their living, breathing, beautiful animals as a commodity only, or too much as a commodity. And when you're talking about quality over quantity, when it comes to your business, you're talking about the investment quality, the financial quality. A $50 normal ball python as a creature is just as quality as a $20,000 new morph, right? So I'm not going to use that phrase, but I still have to think about the progress of my business in an investment or financial way, right? So just understand that anything I'm talking about here, I'm really just talking about my business. I'm not so much talking about, these animals aren't good anymore or anything like that, because they're wonderful. This girl right here has been with us for years. Her name is Shayla. She's a banana cinnamon. She's produced a lot of beautiful clutches for us. Tons of babies. We have some of her babies in our holdback racks. And she is going to be for sale. It is kind of harder than I expected to say that. We have barely ever sold adult females, or even hardly adult males, but especially females. We haven't needed to. We've been in our growth phase. But now, we are trying to grow our business in such a way that not only are all of our ball python projects very targeted, specific gene combos that we are aiming towards, we also want to grow in our other species. And we do not have unlimited space, unlimited time, or unlimited money to do that. So we are going to be kind of entering a new phase, like many breeders hit, and I'm thrilled that we've been successful enough to do this at all, that this is even a thing we have to worry about, right? I'm not complaining at all. I'm very happy with our business, but it is, from a pet's perspective, very difficult to sell some of these animals. But that being said, I just wanted to kind of talk about this phase change, because many people who watch reptile YouTubers are reptile keepers or even breeders themselves. And so it's something that I don't know that I thought about enough when I was getting started, or even 2 or 3 years ago, when we'd already been doing this for 5 years. And now all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't, feeding day takes like 14 hours. Do I really want it to take 18 hours? No, I do not. We have all of our wall space kind of filled up with racks. Do I really want to start putting aisles of racks down the middle of the floor in our very limited space where me and my kids and my wife and our dogs have to spend a lot of our time? No, I don't want to do that. So while we still want to grow, it's going to have to be in specific ways, not just quantity. We are going to have to choose not only individual ball pythons, but actually entire genetic projects to just not pursue anymore. Many years ago, I was reading on a website from a breeder who was a pretty, I'd call him a mid-major breeder. I believe it was his only profession. He didn't have a side job, so he was obviously doing very well, but it wasn't, an Ozzie Boyd's or a Justin Kabilka or something like that. And he said something that I always disagreed with, but I kind of understand where he's coming from. He said, if you're a ball python breeder specifically, you'd be better off to have, 50 snakes in one project than 50 snakes spread over 15 projects. Because if you have all of your snakes focusing on one project, you'll be the leader of that project. Look at JD Constriction. He doesn't have the largest collection in the world, but he is undoubtedly the leader of anything Axanthic, because that's his specialty. All of his projects tie back to Axanthic, and he just is constantly looking to improve Axanthic ball python projects, and he's a master of it, right? So that's what this guy was saying, and I'm like, man, I don't know about that, because just from a sheer joy perspective, I want diversity in the colors and patterns in my collection, and I want to be chasing different goals, even just within ball pythons, and also I want different species. So I've done it a little differently than that, but I do get where he's coming from. If I have space for 60 adult ball pythons, I should not have 60 projects. That's impossible. I'll never get there, right? How many should I have? Well, that's what we're finding out. Am I ever going to produce the absolute tippy top of every project? I'm not. No. I have to pick some things that are my favorite projects and maybe give up for now on some others. For example, we have been raising up a pair of sisters. One of them is a pastel double het lavender clown. The lavender clown project is called the Grail. And her sister is a yellow belly double het lavender clown. And they are just about breeding size. And I was sitting around and I was like, do I go out and drop $2,000 on a male that pairs well with this project, a double het clown lavender something male, when it's not my absolute favorite project and I'm super short on space? I don't know that that's the wisest decision. And so we finally decided we're going to sell those two females. We're just not going to look for the Grail project right now. And it's sad. We've been raising these females up for almost 3 years. And I'm like, why did I even, if I was just going to sell them, why did I even do that pairing in the first place? Or why didn't I sell them when they were babies? Well, you can't know. You can't know every single thing that's going to happen with your collection, what's going to catch your eye, what's going to excite you the most, which clutches you're going to have success with, which ones you're not. And we've just decided to go in a different direction. So for really the first time ever, I'm going to be listing multiple adult female ball pythons for sale. And it's just shocking to me. We're going to get out of lavender altogether. Our big adult lavender female, we're gonna sell her. That's really weird. A lot of these snakes we hatched here at the reptile barn, and we put them in our holdback rack with the absolute certainty that one day we'd be breeding them and furthering some project or another, and it's not going to happen. And I'm pretty sad about it. But I'm also happy, as I wrangle this snake one-handed here, I'm happy that we're going to be able to pursue the projects we're most excited about. Now, I am by no means getting out of ball pythons. Not even close. Not even remotely. That's not my purpose at all. However, one of the rationales for making this change is we really do love some of the other species we work with. There's even a couple species we don't even have any yet that we would like to add. And again, that kind of numbers growth means that somewhere else numbers have to go down. We are at our max number of total animals for now. When Liz is working full-time elsewhere and we don't have a separate facility or anything like that, we don't have a store, we're maxed out. And we have to make hard choices. So, that being said, I just wanted to explain what I'm thinking, what we're going through, why we're going to be selling some of our perfectly wonderful, healthy adult animals. That seems insane since we've spent the last 9 years, 8 years, whatever, trying to grow our business as much as we could. But that's why. I don't know if you guys will agree with me or not, if you think I'm crazy, if you think I'm doing it wrong, or what. I don't know. But I just like sharing with our audience the business side of things, not necessarily jumping into dollar numbers and exact financial things necessarily, but just some of the kind of business choices we have to make. So I think our first batch of adults is going to be this girl, a banana cinnamon, that pair of het grails that I told you about, they're also females, the visual lavender female, and many of these are proven, by the way, a pastel het pied that's proven female, a cinnamon pied female, and then a GHI Enchi yellow belly male was also proven. So that's our first group. And there'll probably be more after that. I have 24 babies sitting here behind me on the holdback rack. They're going to be adult breeders someday. At home, I have larger grow outs, about 14 of them. Those are going to be breeders sooner than later. So I need to improve the genetic power of my ball python collection, and that is what we're doing. So I hope that made sense. I hope that was informative to any of you out there who think about the business side of these things, or who wonder how the ball python market even works. I hope this was fun for you. And again, I'm not in mourning. I'm okay. I know that these snakes will go to good homes because most of them are going to go to people who want to breed them. And I am fairly careful with my sales in general. I have turned down sales before from people that I just didn't feel good about. I really try and make sure they go to good homes. I can't know that, certainty. I'm not going and inspecting people's houses or anything like that. But I will try and make sure these guys get babied at least as well as I've babied them. So thank you guys for all your support. I hope that you enjoyed this. And until next time, we're the Reptile Barn.